Okay, shall we start? Okay, thank you. So, okay, let's begin. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining our session. This is Doming from EasyStack Solution Architect team, and today I'm very glad to be here to work with this gentleman whose name is Yaguo, and he is a chief cloud architect from China UnionPay, and he is also the chief contributor of OpenStack of China UnionPay. And this is our background. And before we start this session, I'd like to talk a little bit about EasyStack and the background of this project we have been involved. So regarding EasyStack, I think if you guys familiar with the community and the contribution to the community, I bet most of you heard the name of the EasyStack. Early 2014, we founded the EasyStack as an open cloud computing based on OpenStack technology. So, as time goes by and the technology changes very fast, and the expectation from customer and the circumstance from customer also change very rapidly. So, for now, we extended our product line from OpenStack to container, Ceph, Linux, and Kubernetes. So, and we also extended our territory from domestic China to Asia Pacific and around the world. We just launched the new office in Silicon Valley. So, we need more people, so we are hiring. So if you guys are interested in EasyStack, so you can go to the booth. We have a booth out there, so you can talk to us. And speaking of this project, we have been involved. Actually, we have been involved in early last year, and after 6 months, communications and testing and a lot of evaluations from China UnionPay, we were lucky to be chosen as a technical partner to work with UnionPay's team to co-develop China UnionPay's financial industry cloud together. So, okay, I will hand the next part to Mr. Yaguo, and he will introduce more about this project and the background of this project. So Yaguo, please.
Thanks. Okay, good morning. Today, I'll give you an introduction about how UnionPay uses OpenStack. And, as you can see, in many places, such as airport, supermarkets, and shops, you can see our logo. So there are 4 parts here. First, I will give an introduction about UnionPay. In the second one, I'll talk about UnionPay with OpenStack. And then I'll give you an introduction about architecture of UnionPay's financial cloud on production. And finally, Daoming will give a recap and some highlights. Okay, let's get started. Yeah. For some of you guys don't know UnionPay, so I would like to give an introduction of UnionPay company. UnionPay is a joint organization of bankcard in China. It is in the core and key position to realize the interconnection and intercommunication of bankcard system. Through UnionPay's interbank transaction system, interconnection and sharing of resources between commercial banks can be realized and ensure interbank trans-region and cross-region, cross-border usage of bank cards. UnionPay actually is a bank card brand in cooperation with domestic and overseas organizations extensively. The network of UnionPay is all over China and has been extended to Asia, Europe, Americas, Africa, and other 160 countries and regions. So, what's happened in UnionPay and on the OpenStack? UnionPay actually launched a prospective research on OpenStack as early as 2012. OpenStack-based private cloud platform was put into production. Then UnionPay's main data center in Shanghai, China. The version was SX version. The private cloud platform was the first OpenStack cloud platform in financial industry in cloud in China. So far, the private cloud is hosting most of our applications, including some mission-critical ones, like online payment transaction system and UnionPay wallet, etc. And yeah, it has been stably operated for about 1,500 days. So what's the scale of our OpenStack deployment? So I'll talk a little about it. In the 2012, our first OpenStack-based private cloud platform was put into the production. And at that time, there were 50 physical nodes. And then after three years, in 2015, there are 1,000 physical servers, including several rooms. And the storage capacity was about 1 PB. And about 100 applications deployed. Then in the 2016, we began to upgrade our OpenStack platform. We followed OpenStack upstream and began to build new cloud platform based on Liberty version. Also, the Liberty version, that version of private cloud platform was integrated with SDN. This year, that is 2017, our cloud platform 2.0 has been put into production. And right now, most of our applications are migrating to it. And in the future, we plan to extend our physical nodes massively to better support our mission control systems. And our strategy is eventually all our systems will be migrated to OpenStack Cloud. So, what's UnionPay's strategy on open source? Firstly, we are investing open source technology and build systems based on open source upstream. And our open source team has more than 100 people whose research fields cover operating system, middleware, database, OpenStack, big data, etc. And more than 30 people focus on OpenStack for now, and the team is extending rapidly. And what's happened about UnionPay with the OpenStack community? We participated in OpenStack Days China regularly, and we deliver keynote speeches and speeches on branch venues. And we built a dedicated OpenStack team, tracking, participating, and contributing in the community. And also, we actively participate in the work of financial group and LCOO group. Also, we work closely with our partner, such as eStack. Yeah. So, next, I'll give an introduction about our architecture of our financial cloud production environment. Okay. As you can see in the picture, we have many x86 physical nodes, and we use local drives, NAS, SAFE, and F5 LTM device, and Cisco ASA firewall. And in the service layer, we use OpenStack. We use many OpenStack services, including compute service, which is Nova, bare metal service, which is ironic, and storage, image, seeing the accounts, and network service. On the top of the services, there are also orchestration, monitor, and we are working on container also. Actually, there are several cloud environments inside our company. Our dev and test cloud for our R&D team, test team, and our our production cloud for our mission-critical applications, transaction system. And also, we have a financial industry cloud, which provides services for some banks partners. Because UnionPay is a company in financial industry in China, so we have many challenges, and also we have design principles. For example, high security requirements, high reliability requirements, multi-region, large scale, and automatic deployment, multiple network deployment model, and integrated with our existing systems. For example, in terms of high security, we did harden on the physical nodes and virtual machines. We separated our network into several planes for isolation. For example, control plane, management plane, business plan, IPMI plan, etc. And we also did QoS on every plane. To avoid single point of failure of hardware devices, we used a fabric with no single point of failure. All devices are coupled. And we also did some host HA and VM HA, which is when some physical nodes crash abnormally, we can detect this situation and handle it. About multi-region, actually in our production environment, they are multi-region. Here, region refers to a full OpenStack deployment. One region is DMZ, and another is a production region. So there are multi-region in our environment, so we need to manage multi-region simultaneously. And our physical, we purchase physical nodes in batch, so we also need to expand our physical nodes into our compute resources on demand. And we also have multiple network deployment models. One is Neutron, and another is a Neutron with hardware SDN. I'll give you details later. And about integration, in many big companies, there are already existing authentication system there. So we need to integrate Keystone into our existing authentication system. Here, I'll give an introduction about multi-region. Actually, there are several regions in our environment. Now, I give you an example of how it works. As you can see in the picture, on the left is region 1, and the right is region 2. Every region has a full OpenStack deployment, and we use a single portal And the portal uses the keystone. The keystone is integrated with our existing SSO system, that is single sign-on. And to comply with the regulation in financial industry, we must have several hardware firewalls between the regions. And in the past, the devices are managed by administrator manually. So now in our cloud, we can operate in the portal pages to inject the rules into the firewalls between regions. That was implemented by FWAS, Firewall as a Service. And we developed our own Cisco ASA SDK and integrated and developed a driver to call the SDK. We also used F5 LTM device. You know, LBAS, that is load balancer as a service, the function is very limited. So how to use F5 LTM advanced features? Our approach is to write some code in the portal to call the F5 SDK directly and to supplement this situation. In our one region, we have 5 dedicated physical nodes for controller node, and 3 more for RabbitMQ nodes, and 3 for MySQL, and 2 for network nodes. In the middle of this picture, our fabric consists of 2 spines and many leaves here. And then we have, this architecture can support more than 500 compute nodes.
So, let me check.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, I would like to give you some details about other side. For example, we use a server group. Server group is a API of Nova, and our administrators would like to classify so many virtual machines into groups. We call it business system in our pages. So the backend is server group of Nova API. It's very useful for administrators to classify the VMs. And we scatter our instances running stateless applications into different zones, which is availability zones, with isolated backend storage to avoid a single point of failure of storage system. As you can see in the picture, availability zone 1 used NAS 1, and availability zone 2 used Ceph, and other more NAS. This is our physical network fabric. In our UnionPay main data center in Shanghai, there's a DMZ region and a production region, and our applications deployed in our production environment to provide UnionPay products and services. You can see that in every region, in the middle of the picture, there are two spines and then many server leaves. And our OpenStack nodes, like controller node, compute nodes, RabbitMQ, MySQL, connected to the server leaves. And our NAS is connected to server leaves too. Also, SDN controller, which is very important. I'll talk about it later. Okay, I want to talk more about this picture. This picture is very important for us to explain how we integrate our cloud platform with SDN. You can see at the top is our controller node. At the bottom is the network node and the compute node. In the network node, there's the DHCP agent and OpenSwitch agent and metadata agent. In the compute node, there are Nova compute daemon and OpenSwitch agent. In the controller node, we use a GBP API, which is group-based policy, which is proposed by Cisco on top of the ML2 model. And the GBP model, we think it's very suitable for us, and especially for our applications and administrators. There's layer 3 policy and layer 2 policy and rules. It's very convenient. The GBP driver we use is neutral mapping driver, and GBP API receive the calls and transfer it to neutral ML2 API. In order to integrate it with our SDN controller, which is AC, you can see. AC, that is agile controller from Huawei SDN. And we use AC ML2 driver and additional driver to pass the GBP group information into the SDN controller. And the SDN controller can put the group information into the hardware switches using netconf protocol. And then the spine switches and the server leaves and the border leaves are managed by the SDN controller. On the right, we use the firewall as a service, and we developed our own Cisco ASA SDK to inject our rules from the cloud platform into the firewall device, which is sit in the middle of regions. You can see on the right 2 pictures of our cloud platform pages. Our administrators use these functions in everyday work.
So I just want to pause here. So just like Yaguo mentioned, I think this is the most difficult part for us to co-develop on this, because it's very unique for you to use a GBP API on top of it and use the ML2 driver to call the SDN controller. And I think it's quite useful for UnionPay because they can provision applications from application perspective, because GBP is a quite good concept from that point of view. Okay, please, Yaguo.
Yeah. And as terms of our network data planes, we bound And there are two physical NIC besides the IPMI NIC. We bound to 10G NIC using LACP mode to save our total switch hardware devices cost. And our design is every virtual machine has two VNIC to separate our business flow and management flow. We split our network into several logical planes and set QoS policy separately to make sure enough bandwidth for our critical systems. The data planes contains, for example, management plane, which is outside of our fabric, which is for SSH management and management about SDN controller, NAS device, and a F5 LTM device, and hardware firewall device. And another one is a controller plane, which is for OpenStack REST API flows and OpenStack components communication. And the third one is business plan for VM and managed plan for VM. As mentioned previously, every VM have two VNIC. And last one is IPMI plan, which is also outside of the fabric. Yeah. Okay. And in many big companies, they are usually already have existing authentication system. In UnionPay, there is a single sign-on system, which is for authentication. So when we put OpenStack into production, we do the integration with about Keystone and our existing SSO system. So let me explain the details about how it works. The step one, the user log into the portal, and the portal transfer to the Keystone. Keystone didn't find the token and redirected to our SSO page. After user entered his username and password, after the identification passed, the SSO will redirect and return a ticket to the Keystone. And we customized Keystone's code to store our relation of user and the regions. So when a user logs in our cloud platform page, it can only see his own region and cannot see another region of others.
So here I just want to highlight one thing. So we did some customizations here because by default, if you build your multi-region OpenStack platform environment, so if user log in the systems and the user can see all the service across different regions. So we did some customization and we added a filter here. So which means user can only access the resource and the service which belongs to his region. And the user cannot see the service out his own region. So that's what we did from this part.
Yeah. Okay, now I'll give it to Dominic.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Iago, for your sharing and the introduction. let me make a quick recap and highlight something here. So as we mentioned before, this is a joint development for two groups. One is UnionPay, and the other is OpenStack. So we worked as one team to achieve one goal with one mission, which is build the most highly secure and highly reliable OpenStack platform in China industry, China financial industry. And we had planned this project into two phases. Phase one from 2006 September and to 2017 October, we did some enhancement and customizations on some OpenStack fundamental service, just like Nova, storage, perspective, and networking, orchestration, and authentication. And we also did a lot of work on, just like Yaguo mentioned, a lot of work onto the integrations, because China UnionPay has a lot of different systems and a lot of heterogeneous hardwares. So it's a huge challenge for us. So in phase two, we are going to add some more advanced new features from OpenStack community, like Troll, which is a database as service, and Sahara, which is an Elastic as service from OpenStack, and Murano, and a lot of other features into this platform. And we also plan to integrate this platform to a lot of, most of existing systems from China UnionPay, like their monitoring system and operations support system and business support system, and some workflow and service management platform. So there are a bunch of integrations for us to do in phase two. And again, this is a joint development project, not a simple product-based project. So which means during the co-development of two teams, we learned from each other and we enabled mutually each other. So for example, on the one hand, we share our knowledge and skills and experience and development experience to UnionPay team. And we even train the new hires of the UnionPay. And on the other hand, UnionPay taught us a lot of experience and skills, and give us a lot of insights from China, financial industry, because there is a strict compliance and regulation from the financial industry. We need to understand it clearly. And also, they shared with us a lot of experience and skill on how to stably run a very large-scale OpenStack in production environment. So we share the experience between two teams. And last but at least, I just want to highlight one thing. We did a lot of customizations for this project, but the basic rule for us to customize the OpenStack is to avoid, too much changes to the OpenStack core service, because we want to keep the speed of the community. So that's a basic rule for us to customize the OpenStack. So that's all we want to share with you guys. So I think we still have several minutes to answer several questions. So any question? Yeah, go ahead.
I saw your business is spreading across the global, so not just APAC and the EMEA, but America, so your business is getting popular.
Yeah.
But you are loading the private cloud, I think most likely in the China region. So I want to ask, what's the benefit loading private cloud against the public cloud? Because comparing to your business growth in the global.
Okay, I think Yaguo should answer this question. Okay, go ahead.
The question is why we don't use public cloud. Yes?
Yes, because your business is growing other than China.
Actually, we would like to invest on our private cloud for our own mission-critical systems. We want to make sure our data in our own data center and all the transaction systems, flow, and data, and others, we hope is in our own control. So the public cloud may be in the future, but right now, we still trust our own private cloud.
So on a cost perspective, you own more than 100 people in your company to maintain your cloud and develop for the business. So what about cost perspective?
Pardon? The cost, right?
Yeah, from cost perspective.
You mean the team, right?
Yeah, so you have to invest people to maintain your cloud.
Yeah.
You have to maintain your data center.
Actually, there were several hundred applications in UnionPay. So it's many applications. And those applications use some basic common middleware or database or operating system. So we built a dedicated team focused on the, for example, operating system, middleware, MySQL, for example, RabbitMQ, Kafka, and big data is Spark, Hadoop. So the team is very big now, and more than about 100. Their focus may be some little different, but all they are based on the open source technology.
So I just want to add some content here. So for China UnionPay, they have a very large R&D team. And from cloud perspective, especially on OpenStack, there are more than 16 people for doing learning and development and research, such like this.
Yeah.
And I think this team is growing fast, growing rapidly. So, and I think if we, let's say, if we see not only the OpenStack environment, it's a cloud environment, I think the team is approach almost over the 100 people, yeah, in China UnionPay. So
What's more, actually, open source technology and software sometimes is not 100% perfect. And it's not always suitable for real enterprise. So we must invest some teams to handle it and to cover it and to put into our production safely. So what's important, our leader decide the strategy of our open source investment. So I think it's very important for us. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Are those mission critical data stored on the OpenStack cloud, or is
Yes. Such as UnionPay wallet and our online payment transaction system, the data is stored on our NAS device right now. And we also use Ceph, but the Ceph is not used for the very, very mission-critical system, just for some backup and development and test right now. But in the future, maybe we invest more teams on the Ceph and use it on the production more and more. But right now, the commercial storage for our industry, for the financial industry, we think it's more suitable right now.
are those things cross all the region or just in one region?
Oh.
I think all the transaction data should be accessible globally from anywhere, not specific to region.
Yeah. Actually, the database, there are about 4 or 5 databases of UnionPay. For example, in Hong Kong, Shanghai, Beijing. So our main data center is in Shanghai, China. And our main mission-critical systems are deployed in Shanghai. And why not support 40 to 50 physical nodes? Yeah.
So all the data will be replicated to different regions, just back to your question. And most of commercial storage systems, just like Yago mentioned, and had been integrated with the OpenStack platform. So almost all the mission-critical applications are running on top of the OpenStack. So,
Yeah, thank you.
okay, thank you. Thanks for listening. That's all.